Previously on Survivor Branford. Under the pretense of a random tribe draw to open the game, the castaways were surprised to find the tribe split by gender, the men's tribe to be known as the Kings, and the women's tribe to be known as the Queens. On the Queen's tribe, Sarah Elizabeth found a clue to the idol and used it to establish an alliance among the 5 new players. Lexi, however, had doubts as to her standing in the alliance and bound an in with returning players Angela and Melissa. The Kings found themselves split down the middle, with Ryan, Eddie, and Dennis targeting Trent over fears of his future loyalty, while Trent, Mark, and Sam gunned for perceived strategic wildcard Ryan. When the Kings lost the immunity challenge, things were complicated by Eddie's selective sharing of his idol clue and of the advantage he was gifted by Angela. With the tribe divisions seeming to hold as tribal council approached, Joe had positioned himself squarely in the middle. In a 4-3 vote, Joe sided with those looking to remove Trent from the game, making him the first voted out, and leaving Mark and Sam to try to work from the bottom. 13 are left. Who will be voted out tonight?
So, I found the clue. Okay.
So I know that Sarah Elizabeth has the clue. I don't think that she's found the idol yet. Sarah found that clue, and it said something about it floating, and less than knee deep, so I thought it would be right around here, and then with the grass floating, but
very strong chance someone has found it and is not saying anything. So we'll see.
I also thought I might have seen Sarah Elizabeth find the clue in the bathroom. Not sure about that either. I like all this. Like down over there by the. She's like, well, first time we found, so I'm just gonna use it. I was like, oh, it's such a waste. It's such a waste.
If we lose again, I would rather have a super tight alliance with you and shift it onto someone else.
I'm always super honest and transparent when I play. I can't lie very much, and I'm feeling like Sam is going to be a similar player.
And I like if
You always
like,
get
people
backstabbed.
think I'm
You
going to,
always
and then
get
it's always
backstabbed.
the rest of my group is done.
Right. So if there is an opportunity for where you're the swing vote between us and other folks, you get to choose like. Okay, that's what I was.
Yeah.
Was hoping you'd say.
I want you to know I'm open to anything. I will have an open mind.
It felt good to get through that first tribal council and to get some confirmation that people were telling the truth. It was kind of a really last-minute decision that was made. Overall, I think it was the right decision, and now early conversation seemed to be, did Mark put himself enough on the outs based on pushing for Trent to stay that he could be on the chopping block? Or is Ryan, who got a few votes last time, is he in trouble still?
I'm nervous to say the least. I mean, I survived my first tribal with 3 votes against me, so split vote. I mean, once I saw that 3rd vote come up, I really thought there were only going to be 2, so I was really nervous. Definitely looking this round to stick close to Joe. Joe is someone I think I can trust. Stick close to Dennis. Both of them kind of had my back that round. Those are the guys I want to work with. Mark, I really don't trust Mark at all right now.
Sam's vote for you was, I
heard it was like a loyalty vote.
Yeah, he said he gave Trent his word, and I didn't think his vote was going to matter. I'm not worried about Sam in that regard.
Yeah, I agree.
The name that I've heard is Mark, and fully on board with that.
I think that's what I'm interested in.
I found the clue a while ago. Ryan, Trent is now gone, and Mark, I'll know the clue. Because I thought I needed to swing those people. Where's the concern? Someone who always sticks to the plans. Once I finish the manual labor, better make sure to wash my hands to come back up.
The manual labor and wash hands, that's gotta be like a key part.
I'm a little tense right now. I have an alliance going with Mark, but he really wanted me to go for Ryan this time instead of Trent. I voted for Trent because I'm also kind of working with Joe and Dennis. I'm just trying to like balance the two without kind of seeming like a weasel. So I think I still have Mark's trust, and I'm not super worried about Dennis or Joe because I voted for Trent like they asked me to.
Eddie has found the clue, and you shared it with Mark. A little annoyed with Eddie for like sharing it with like everyone but like us, I feel like.
So I just asked him, was like, anybody have a clue or anything? And he said no at first. And then he came and said it.
I like asked him to like, heard anything, and he was like, no, I didn't press him.
I think we should work with him.
I agree. At first I was really kind of bored with Eddie, but now I'm...
Obviously, the last tribal was kind of tough, seeing that you guys went Trent and I went Ryan to keep my word, but, you know.
I mean, you're still in the majority, like, you still know you're with that, like, Joe told me. I knew you were thinking that, and then Joe was like, he's going to go, so. As of now, Mark, and then we can see if things change.
You don't think Mark would be on the outs without Trent, though? Because he just lost a big ally. So then that would be like, we have to now squash that Eddie and Ryan. You know, I was talking with Dennis, and we wanted to feel you out and see if you'd be open to a 3-person alliance with us. Now,
would you be up for like a final 3 with like us? I feel like, yeah.
And Joe and Lexi get the challenge underway. There's 2 things that are of crucial importance in this challenge. First is that you decode the Braille correctly, so that you grab the paper that matches the number on your flag, giving you the right coordinates. And second is that you use the ropes to measure the intersecting points as accurately as possible. Lexi has her flag in the sand, sending Angela out to find her coordinates. You can use the graphic below to track the tribe's progress. For example, Lexi's placement of the number 1 flag is a bit off from the intended spot, which may cause issues for the queens later. Eddie getting a bit of help from the tribe in placing his ropes. It may seem simple, but once you're in that circle revolving all around, it's quite easy to become disoriented. The Kings now have their second flag planted. Michelle continuing to dance around her compass ring. Mark searching for the correct spot for his number 5 flag. Lisa now into the challenge for the Queens. As Dennis returns, you can see the King's board starting to deviate from the solution. The Queens clearly having a few issues themselves. Though the flags don't need to be in the exact position as diagrammed, the closer they are, the easier it'll be to read that 6-digit solution. The castaways have yet to realize that this challenge isn't so much about speed, it's more about precision. No one as of yet really taking the time to pull their ropes taut. Melissa double checking her coordinates, doesn't want to have to fix anything later. And X marks the spot for Ryan. Melissa has her intersection, leaving the Queens with only 1 flag to go. Sam really taking his time, not sure if he's heeding my advice or if he's just a little confused. And now he's accidentally got his rope wound around one of the King's flags. As Sarah takes her spot for the Queens, we can see that a few of their flags, the number 1 and the number 8, are likely going to result in them not coming up with the correct answer on their first try. The Kings, meanwhile, aren't in horrible shape, but the placement of that number 5 flag may become an issue. And the Queens have their last flag in, checking their work. Kings call me over, and though they're reading what they have correctly left to right in rows, the number 5 is proving to be a thorn in their side. The Queens have a few different issues they need to work out. Which tribe will realize first that the answer is a simple pattern of 2 rows with 3 flags? Mark shifting the number 1 flag over a bit, and that's going to clear things up a little for the Kings. Queens double checking everything, and they've made a big step in the right direction by correcting that number 8 flag. Kings looking like they're not too sure what their next step should be. Great teamwork by the Queens to pull those ropes taut, and it immediately results in finding the true spot for that number 1 flag. Meanwhile, the Kings' ropes are laying unused on the ground. Michelle with a significant improvement to the Queen's board moving that number 4 flag. They're getting close now. Kings continuing to do a lot of pointing. Queens making sure they like what they see. The Kings may just be waiting for this one to be over.
So I'm feeling pretty good since we won the last 2 challenges. Seems like we have a pretty tight, pretty cohesive team. But I do see a division forming between the returning players and the new players. But otherwise, feeling pretty good. And hopefully we keep winning these challenges.
Until we actually have to go to tribal, everyone's the same thing.
I think the biggest thing for new players, which I've seen in the last few years, is there's so much to be worried about for that very first tribal council that I think the new players might struggle with. I feel like it's tough to really get going immediately, and it's a really fast thing that starts right away.
I don't have a 4.
That's why we're paranoid, Angela. We would be paranoid if we had a 4.
There might have been hints of a newbie alliance, which is fine. Angela and I are obviously the only 2 returning players.
My biggest concern coming into this is the fact that people who have played before, already have connections.
I'm just saying I don't really have anyone. So
yeah, I mean, the thing was you, Angela, and Lexi all went off together, and so that kind of had the rest of us just grouped together.
Suspicious.
Then, so,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm definitely more confident in my physical game. Let me try again. I'm definitely more confident in my social game than I am my physical game. So I have to rely on that social game early on. I am feeling nervous and not really confident in anyone. I keep asking oh, have you heard my name come up? And everyone's like, no, you're good. And I'm like, that probably means something is wrong. I'm having a hard time knowing who to trust. I'm happy to be here and feel a little lost in the wind.
before the last challenge, me, Michelle, Sarah, and Sarah Elizabeth had kind of an alliance made, and we said, it was going to be 4 strong. But when we were talking about people to vote out, I mentioned Angela. I think she's a threat, and Sarah Elizabeth just kept trying to avoid Angela's name, and so I'm a little suspicious there. So I don't know, but I also don't trust that Melissa feels like she's in the wind or whatever. I think she's got her 3 people, and maybe pulling over Sarah Elizabeth to get to 4 on 3.
I've been freaking out because I have the idol, and it seems like most people know this. I started out with a newbie alliance that I thought that just kind of happened because everyone was in the room when I found the clue, and I had to be like, oh, I found the clue. My head is exploding and I don't know who I'm working with. I just am being approached by a lot of people.
Yeah, so if I'm being honest, I feel like I've pretty much flipped out as soon as I found the clue, and it's just all right, everyone here. I need you people.
Yeah. I've talked to Melissa and Angela a few times now. I feel like when I talk to them, it's more of they're trying to see if the newbies are having an alliance.
Yeah, I feel very in the middle right now.
Yeah.
If I'm I know that you have them. If you want to stay in good with Angela and Melissa, that would be very good.
That's super frustrating to lose the first 2 challenges. Felt like we were right there, but now we just got to do another vote. What I've heard so far is either Mark or Ryan, and we'll have to see about that.
I think it's an easy vote. We got 3 last time. Granted, one of them is out of the game now. I mean, I'd be on board. Yeah. If it seems like we got the numbers, I don't think that would be much convincing. Okay. What do you think?
I've heard my name, right?
Yeah, I heard your name too.
No.
But I pitched something to Joe, and I think he might be on board. Eddie, right? He just got an advantage, and now he has a clue. If nobody's keeping tabs on him, we don't know if he has it. We can make him feel like he's the vote to be cast. This tribal, have him play it, have the votes go for Ryan.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Eddie thinks we're voting for him. He's like, oh, I gotta blow it. But
I
then
don't think
we
he
get
has
to,
it though.
I would doubt it.
But that's the thing. It's all tentative, so he might not even have it.
I think it's Orion this vote. You just try to get through this vote, and then
I think Ryan's the easier one to do this time.
We gotta really pick it up from a challenge perspective. Even if I could make it through my tribe, if we go in and we're down 7-3 or something, like, you're in big trouble. There's a lot to weigh there, a lot in terms of Mark and the different facets he brings to the game. He can be a great ally in a lot of ways. His loyalty, pretty honest in the game, and also he can be a big target if you do go to merge with him, where that's probably, at this point, the biggest thing in Mark's favor in my eyes. Still up in the air, a lot of things going around in my mind.
We're either swapping or this round, or we're not swapping or merge. So it's either next or we're not.
I would say, yeah, if we don't swap, we probably have at least 2 more challenges.
Okay.
Hopefully we start winning some challenges. It really feels like really demoralizing to lose those first 2, and I'm not feeling good. I really wanted this win. I really need this win to either get me a round of peace and calmer chatter, or a round of immunity that could possibly get me to a swap, if there is a swap. So kind of want Mark out right now. I don't think him and I are looking too close together, but also I don't know if there's the votes for him at the moment. We'll have to see. At this point, I don't know, I'm a little worried. I'm hoping I get through this tribal, and if the game can shake up, then so be it.
I've been making it super messy. It's not messy.
I think you've got those coming north.
I thought it was an easy Ryan vote. Are you gonna vote for me?
I don't want to vote for you.
Well, then don't. Vote
I need-
Ryan. How is this even an issue? I thought there was you, me, Eddie, and Dennis, and we're gonna
And
like...
maybe it's just because when I've been chatting, Ryan has been around the majority of the time that I've been chatting with other people.
Yeah, that's you smoke.
King's Tribe. I have to be honest, I'm not supposed to play sides here, but I am very disappointed in you. Eddie, in this vote, are you thinking more about how you're going to correct that challenge problem? Or are you thinking more back to the last vote when it was very split and you're going to try to continue to vote along those lines?
Yeah, I think the alliances are very messy right now, so I'm just trying to read that situation and play it to my own advantage.
Mark, so this is your 4th time playing Survivor. Would you say this is one of the messiest tribes you've ever been a part of?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like just as Joe has usually been on losing teams, I've typically been on group challenges that have won consistently and have had a much less stressful first day. So I'm feeling pretty stressed right now.
Sam, so this is your first time on the other end of things. Is this living up to your expectations in terms of being stressful and trying to survive the votes, or is this a walk in the park still?
Oh, I would say that you can never think of anything as a walk in the park. You definitely always have to have your guard up. I think, to Mark's point, things do seem a little messy right now. I think this vote will definitely show who's in the majority and who's in the minority. And I think we'll just end up taking things from there.
Joe, that was an interesting comment from Sam about hearing where the lines are drawn and kind of figuring out who's on what side at this vote. Wasn't that already done in the last vote? Do you have a good idea of who voted on what side already?
I mean, we know who voted on the last vote, and it wasn't, I guess it was an interesting comment. Yeah, I mean, lines were drawn last time, but the game changes. We played just as much game since then as we had before that. So, I mean, what happened in the first vote doesn't have much bearance on what happens here after.
So Ryan, you were 1 vote away from leaving us at the last tribal council. What did you do since that time in order to get in better standing with your tribe to make sure that you're not even coming up this time for the vote?
I mean, it's absolutely nerve-wracking. You see, I was expecting votes. I wasn't expecting 3 votes, so I definitely went back, went to people like, hey, did you vote where you voted? Kind of figured it out, and just hoping that the people that voted with me and everyone else, I've just established my presence as someone that won't be as much on the chopping block this round. And then if I am, but hopefully the votes, there are still votes in my corner that I can survive another tribal here.
So Dennis, this seems like a very strategic vote coming up here, as the last one was also, and you have a very strategic mind. So just give me an overall state of this tribe. How are you guys going to be better after this upcoming vote?
The short answer, it doesn't really answer your question. We need to win challenges. The longer answer, which I'm going to dance around and not really answer, is there's a lot of complicated factors going on with conversations about Are we going to swap at some point? What does that mean? When would a merge happen? And there's almost, in a way, it gets to the point where there's too many factors to consider long term that you almost have to come back to like short term and what's the next best move to kind of move together with a somewhat cohesive group of people.
Does anybody here look forward to a potential swap, or do you guys want to keep it the way it is and maybe prove yourselves going forward as a tribe?
I mean, I'd love to bring the numbers back up, even it up, but if we're not going to win challenges, then it's just going to keep picking us off if we don't swap. So I'm interested in bringing the tides back, though, if we don't swap.
I got to piggyback off that comment. I think, you know, after 2 challenge wins by the Queen's tribe, I think they're already forming really good relationships over there, which could be very dangerous, because if we do have a swap, there is going to be a majority female and a minority female tribe. And if we get swapped and we get on that majority female tribe, that's an easy vote for them. So it's going to be a tough situation to be in.
So it sounds like you guys believe, you don't know anything about their tribe dynamics yet, but you believe that all this bonding time, no voting, no stressing, has really formed them as a solid group that might be unbreakable once you guys run into them. Sounds like priority number 1 for you should be winning that next challenge, and I would think that this vote here should get you one step closer to winning that next challenge. Is there anything else anyone would like to say before we go ahead and do the vote? All right, well then, Eddie, you're up first.
Hopefully, this will be the end of Mark. Sorry, bud. Roomies for life.
We need to win the next challenge.
If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and you'd like to play it, now would be the time to do so. Once the votes are read, the decision is final. The person voted out will be asked to leave the tribal council area immediately. I'll read the votes. First vote, Mark. Mark, 2 votes, Mark. Ryan. Mark, 3 votes, Mark. 1 vote, Ryan. Second person voted out is Survivor Branford. Mark, that's 4, that's enough. You need to bring me your torch. Mark, tie the scope.
It was a good game, but definitely not my peak. I'll be back next year. Thanks all.